One fateful night with my boss spiraled into an unforgettable experience. The twist that unfolded will leave you in disbelief. Don't forget to hit that like button, share your insights in the comments below, and subscribe to embark on this journey with us as we unveil our latest tales. That night shattered my understanding of everything I thought I knew: my career, my decisions, and the remarkable man who had stood by my side for over a decade. Some moments strike unexpectedly, unfolding like a masterfully orchestrated symphony, each note echoing profoundly within your soul. It started like any other evening, cloaked in the familiar shadows of twilight. The company's annual gala had just concluded, and the city lights twinkled like stars through the vast glass windows of the rooftop venue, casting a magical glow over the evening. The laughter of my colleagues echoed in my mind as I stepped into the cool night air, a welcome reprieve from the chaos behind me. The relentless ache in my heels echoed the countless hours I endured, standing and smiling, a facade masking the fatigue beneath. Just as I was about to step out, I cast a lingering look over my shoulder at him, Victor Monroe Carter, the man who had been my boss for the past 12 years. With silver threading through his temples and a keen eye for style, he strides forward, exuding an undeniable confidence that speaks of a life forged through hard work and remarkable achievements. At 61, he radiated his typical composure and control, yet there was an unmistakable shift in his expression that night, a flicker of something deeper lurking beneath the surface. With a hint of a smile, I announced, "I'm just stepping out for some fresh air." The party was nothing short of extraordinary. He moved closer, hands buried in his pockets, the familiar command in his demeanor gently dimmed by the inviting shimmer of the streetlights. Indeed it was. To be truthful, these events simply don't resonate with me. A burst of laughter escaped my lips. Utterly amusing. Each year, you gather them in a powerful reunion. It's merely the nature of the game. He leaned in, his head tilting ever so slightly in my direction. Yet there you were, radiating joy as if the world around you had faded away, lost in a moment that felt utterly alive. I let my shoulders drop in resignation. It seems I've truly embraced the part. He chuckled softly, and in that fleeting moment, we were enveloped in a warm, shared silence, a cocoon of intimacy that felt almost magical. The city throbbed with energy, but in that ephemeral instant, it was only the two of us standing shoulder to shoulder, liberated from the stifling boundaries of the office. Then the words I never anticipated struck like a bolt from the blue. He confessed, a hint of vulnerability in his voice, "I'm not ready to head home just yet. What do you say we share a drink together?" I halted, caught in the moment. We frequently found ourselves lost in conversation beyond the confines of work, with late-night calls that stretched into the early hours and strategy meetings that lingered long into the evening. A palpable shift hung in the air. His tone carried an unspoken intensity that sent a thrill through me, quickening my pulse just a fraction. Without a doubt. At last I found my voice. Why not take the plunge? We wandered down the street, the shimmering towers of downtown fading into the distance as we delved into a quieter, more serene part of the city. He led me into a snug lounge, where the lighting was low and the smooth notes of jazz danced through the atmosphere. The place exuded a timeless essence, a sanctuary that stood resolute against the world's unyielding haste beyond its borders. As we settled into a shadowy corner booth, he loosened his tie, a rare and captivating sight that drew my gaze. His eyes locked onto mine, piercing through the surface, as if he were unearthing a hidden realm within me. "You've been with the company for quite some time," he said, swirling the amber liquid in his glass, a knowing glint in his eye. "Can you fathom it? 12 long years." I nodded resolutely. "Have you ever pondered the alternate paths your life could have taken? The twists and turns that might have led you to a completely different existence?" His question struck me like a bolt from the blue. "Do you truly dare to challenge the depths of my regret over the choices I've made?" He shook his head with fervent intensity. "Not a single regret." A flicker of curiosity ignited within me. "Have you ever pondered the roads left untrodden?" I exhaled slowly, the air escaping my lungs like a whisper in the stillness. Surely we have all felt that at one time or another. Every decision, every twist and turn we encounter, seems to guide us precisely to the place we are destined to be. A sly grin spread across his face at that moment. What an astute viewpoint. We found ourselves in a heartfelt exchange, the sort that had eluded us for years. It transcends mere work deadlines or quarterly reports. It revolves around the very essence of existence. He opened up about his formative years, recounting the trials of establishing the company and the profound sacrifices that marked his path. I bared my soul, revealing the dreams that dance in my mind and the pivotal moments that have forged my very essence. Time slipped into the shadows. One drink spiraled into two, then three, each sip pulling him deeper into the night. In that fleeting moment, a wave of nostalgia and joy washed over us, altering the very fabric of the atmosphere around us. He leaned in, his fingers grazing the back of my hand, a tentative touch that sent shivers down my spine, as if he were charting unknown territory. I remained rooted in that spot. A moment descended, a breath caught in the throat, as the world balanced precariously on the brink. In a hushed tone, he leaned closer, his eyes glinting with vulnerability. "I've never told anyone this," he confessed, "but my admiration for you runs deeper than just your work. Your presence possesses a rare power to anchor the world, even in the midst of turmoil." My heart pounded with exhilaration. Compliments had come my way before, but this one struck a chord deep within me. A wave of genuine appreciation washed over them. It was a moment steeped in depth, a truth that resonated with authenticity. "You've always been my one unwavering truth," he pressed on, his voice thick with emotion. It may have taken me longer than I care to admit to grasp the true weight of that moment. A lump formed in my throat as I grappled with the unexpected moment, my mind racing for the right words to say. He was a force in my life, a presence that loomed larger than mere authority. He was a figure I had admired for countless years, a person whose judgment I cherished far more than I would ever dare to admit. As I lingered in the warm embrace of the softly illuminated lounge, my thoughts drifted far away from the mundane concerns of work and professionalism. His gaze burned with intensity, as though he were finally uncovering a woman he had long concealed from his own heart. "I should probably head home," I finally admitted, but the uncertainty in my voice left everyone unconvinced. His gaze pierced through me, holding steady for what felt like an eternity, before he finally inclined his head in acknowledgement. "Let me lead you on this journey." The streets lay hushed, the city surrendering to the allure of its late-night pulse. As we approached my building, we halted at the entrance, absorbing the weight of the moment. "Thank you for tonight," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "For being here to truly listen." A grin spread across my face. "The same applies to you as well." In that fleeting moment of stillness, a wave of uncertainty washed over everything. Without a moment's hesitation, I leaned in. Only a whisper. Only what is needed. In that instant, the world around them vanished, leaving only two souls entwined, as the echoes of the past and the whispers of the future dissolved into nothingness, leaving only the raw intensity of the present. Just as the tension reached its peak, I hesitated, my breath trembling in the stillness. "Good night, Victor Monroe," I whispered, crossing the threshold, desperate to hold on to my resolve before it slipped away completely. As the door slammed shut behind me, I pressed my back against it, my heart pounding in my chest. A palpable change had settled between us, an unspoken tension that crackled in the air. A shiver ran through me, a deep instinct whispering that this was merely the beginning of an extraordinary journey. As dawn broke, I leaped from my bed, an electric thrill coursing through me, my thoughts racing with the haunting echoes of the night before. The intensity of Victor Monroe's gaze held me captive, his hand radiating warmth against mine, as unspoken words hung tantalizingly in the air between us. For years he was nothing more than my boss, a figure cloaked in authority, respect, and an unbridgeable distance. Now I was haunted by thoughts of Victor Monroe, the man who had let his guard down, revealing his hidden vulnerabilities, who had looked at me with an intensity that made my heart race uncontrollably. I shook my head, trying to dispel the fog that clung to my thoughts as I poured the steaming coffee into my cup. This is utterly ridiculous. Nothing has transpired, and nothing is destined to unfold. As I crossed the threshold into the office, an unsettling tension enveloped me, as if the very atmosphere had transformed, hinting at a change that was both palpable and foreboding. I caught a glimpse of him through the glass of his office. He was on a call, but in that fleeting moment, our gazes intertwined, igniting an unspoken connection. Pause for an instant filled with uncertainty. He offered me the faintest smile, a hidden treasure meant solely for my gaze. A tempest of emotions swirled just beneath the surface, restless and unyielding. The day raced ahead, a blur of meetings and emails, but my mind drifted into uncharted territories. Victor Monroe hovered near my desk with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine, his gaze locking onto mine for a heartbeat longer than necessary, igniting a tension that crackled in the air between us. As the afternoon stretched into twilight, a sense of restlessness began to creep into my bones. The longing for fresh air consumed me, a desperate need to cleanse my thoughts. As I stepped outside onto the inviting office terrace, the crisp autumn air enveloped me, and the city pulsed with energy below, a vivid tapestry of honks and animated conversations swirling around me. Lost in the labyrinth of my thoughts, I failed to notice the door creaking open behind me. It feels as though you've been evading my presence. Victor Monroe's voice flowed with a serene confidence, but beneath that tranquility lay a razor-sharp intensity. I pivoted, a soft chuckle escaping my lips, echoing in the stillness around me. Avoiding you, are they? Such a dramatic overstatement. He edged nearer, his hands buried deep in his pockets, a familiar enigmatic expression etched across his face. Is that so? With a heavy breath, I pressed my fingers against my temples, trying to ease the tension that had settled in. Victor Monroe, you won't believe the extraordinary events that unfolded last night. He presented it to me in a completely unexpected manner. I understand. I looked up at him, the man who had been my companion through countless years, yet in this fleeting moment, he seemed like a complete stranger. In that moment everything fell away, and I was finally able to see him for who he really was. I can't do this, I whispered, but even as the words slipped from my lips, they echoed hollowly in the silence around me. His eyes bore into mine, holding me captive in a moment that stretched on forever, before he finally exhaled a heavy sigh. I understand your worry. This is a perilous move, one that undeniably alters the very terrain of our reality. It undeniably alters the course of everything. With unwavering determination I declared, Victor Monroe, you hold the reins here. Boundaries and standards loom large. Rules hold no power over me. He cut in, his voice a steady whisper that commanded attention. My eyes were fixed on him, unyielding and intense. This was not the composed, calculating figure I had come to know. This was someone entirely different. A soul who, for once, found respite from the relentless grip of business, control, and responsibility. He couldn't shake the thought of me from his mind. You're turning this into something far more complex than it has to be, he said, his voice softening with an unexpected warmth. Last night, the boundaries of our roles blurred, transforming us into something far deeper than mere boss and employee. Only the two of us remained. It was a truth that hung in the air between us, palpable and impossible to ignore. I inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the moment settle around me. Merely following tradition doesn't guarantee that it's the correct path. He tilted his head, his gaze piercing into mine with an electrifying intensity. Yet you failed to reveal that you don't feel it either. I parted my lips, but the stillness enveloped me like a thick fog. The truth loomed in the air, palpable and unyielding, pressing down on our hearts with an unbearable weight. A surge of emotion washed over me, a feeling long forgotten and buried deep within my soul. He edged nearer, his voice barely a breath. If you believe I'm wrong, just speak up and I'll drop it. Last night lingers like a haunting memory, a shadow now cast into the depths of the past. A burning desire surged within me to make that happen. A powerful urge surged within me, compelling me to break the silence, to pull away, to pretend that everything could revert to the way it once was. Yet I found myself unable to do so. Doubt gnawed at me, casting shadows over my resolve. The air crackled with an electric tension, an invisible pull urging us closer together. My breath hitched as he extended his hand, his fingertips brushing against my wrist with a tantalizing lightness. It's a question lingering in the air, not a demand that echoes with authority. After years of relentless contemplation, a deep yearning for a reprieve from the chaos of my thoughts surged within me. I remained rooted to the spot. As Victor Monroe's fingertips grazed my wrist, an electric thrill coursed through me, igniting a fire that pulsed in every corner of my soul. My heart raced, his touch sparking a thrilling current that surged through my veins. For years, I was shackled by the weight of others' expectations, trapped within the narrow confines of what was deemed acceptable for my career and my age. I forged a life anchored in the familiar, where every choice was a calculated step, and every moment unfolded with the certainty of a well-worn path. As I stood there, Victor Monroe's eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that made me feel like a rare discovery. I sensed the very walls around us begin to tremble and reshape. He stood there, his gaze unwavering, probing for any sign that I yearned for this with the same fervor that consumed him. In that fleeting moment, I sprang into action. I released a long, deliberate breath. Victor Monroe, uncertainty looms over us like a dark cloud, and I can't shake the feeling that we're on the brink of something unpredictable. He offered a fleeting smile, a glimmer of warmth in the shadows. I don't either, but that doesn't mean we should turn our backs on it. A chilling breeze swept across the terrace, igniting a shiver that raced down my spine. In a swift motion, he removed his suit jacket, the fabric gliding through the air before settling over my shoulders with an effortless grace. His scent, a whisper of spiced cologne, wrapped around me like a warm embrace, stirring memories that felt both comforting and intoxicating. "Come on," he urged, his hand slicing through the air toward the office door. "The moment has come to escape this forsaken place." I halted, caught in the moment. "Are you speaking of this very moment? Why not take the plunge?" His voice danced lightly through the air, but beneath its gentle surface lay a current of unwavering resolve. I cast a fleeting glance back through the glass doors, the world beyond them shrouded in mystery. The office thrummed with an electric energy as the day drew to a close, each person moving through their routines with a determined grace, the air thick with anticipation. The vision of the night loomed before me, vivid and tantalizing, as I contemplated the moment I would cross the threshold once more. As I gathered my belongings, a sense of routine enveloped me. I would make my way home, the familiar path guiding my steps. In the kitchen, I would conjure dinner, the rhythmic motions of cooking a comforting distraction. Then I would settle into the silence, my thoughts swirling like shadows, pretending that nothing had shifted in the world around me. Yet, an unsettling shift lingered in the air. After what felt like an eternity, I was resolute in my decision to seize this chance and not let it slip through my fingers. "Fantastic." To my surprise, my voice flowed with a steadiness I hadn't expected. "Let the adventure begin." We stumbled upon a cozy, dimly lit restaurant just a few blocks away, an enchanting haven where the music floated gently through the air, and the waiters spoke in hushed tones. As Victor Monroe uncorked the bottle, the rich aroma of the wine filled the air. With the first sip gliding down my throat, a wave of warmth washed over me, and I felt the tension begin to dissolve into the evening's embrace. With a deliberate clink of my glass against the table, I leaned in closer and asked, "What are we truly doing here?" He reclined slightly, his gaze fixed on me, a familiar enigmatic expression etched across his face, one that always lingered in the office's shadows. But tonight, an unsettling energy crackled through the atmosphere. To speak candidly, he swirled his wine, entranced by the way the deep red liquid twirled and shimmered in the light, as if holding secrets within its depths. "I yearned for a sanctuary with you, a realm where we could unveil our authentic selves, free from the weight of the world." I gulped, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. How should one behave? His gaze pierced through the air, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. That final night held a weight of significance. The words hung in the air, heavy and inescapable. With anticipation bubbling within me, I parted my lips, yearning to uncover the precise words that would convey my thoughts. For once, I craved to cast aside all restraint. I yearned to express myself without the weight of hesitation, to let my thoughts flow unfiltered before they slipped away into silence. I exhaled slowly, the air escaping my lungs like a whispered secret. Without a doubt it did. A fleeting flicker of emotion danced across his features. It might be a wave of relief crashing over, or perhaps it's something deeper, an awakening of the soul. Our conversation stretched into the night, each word weaving a deeper connection between us. It transcends mere work or responsibilities. Everything revolves around us. I unveiled to him the secrets that had lingered in the shadows of my mind for years, waiting for the right moment to escape. My life became a relentless pursuit, every moment consumed by the ambition to climb the ladder of success. I had woven a narrative in my mind, one where love, passion, and connection were treasures reserved for others, never to grace my own life. In a world where youth reigned supreme, where time stretched infinitely before them, Victor Monroe found himself captivated, utterly immersed in the moment. As I finally fell silent, he leaned across the table, his fingers brushing against mine in a touch that was both simple and deliberate, leaving me gasping for air. "You're not alone in this," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. I was utterly convinced by his words. As we emerged from the restaurant, the city enveloped us in a serene stillness, a quiet that felt almost palpable. The streets glistened under the soft embrace of streetlights, their warm glow casting long shadows, while the distant murmur of traffic pierced the stillness that enveloped us. We wandered slowly, an unspoken tension hanging in the air, both of us hesitant to say goodbye just yet. He halted at the crosswalk, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. "I don't want to rush this," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, "but I can't overlook the weight of what this truly means." My heart pounded. Victor Monroe. He released a soft chuckle, shaking his head, a glimmer of amusement dancing in his eyes. "I understand it's a complex situation." A sudden bright laugh erupted from me, filling the air with a sense of joy. "That's an understatement of epic proportions." We halted, the city alive with energy, yet in that instant it seemed as though we were the sole souls in the universe. In that instant I drew nearer, driven by raw instinct, devoid of thoughts or plans. Victor Monroe breath hitched, his eyes fixed intently on mine. At long last I surrendered to the depths of my emotions. The kiss blossomed gradually, with a tender hesitance, reminiscent of the first delicate chords of a melody we were both on the brink of exploring. His hand enveloped my face, a touch that was both tender and filled with unspoken reverence. As we finally separated, his forehead brushed softly against mine. "This is a pivotal moment, isn't it?" I whispered gently, and he replied with a murmur, suggesting that it does indeed, but maybe that's not such a terrible thing in the end. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the enveloping warmth of the moment, completely. Maybe, just maybe, he was onto something. The next morning, I awoke to a tempest of emotions swirling inside me. Excitement surged through the air, a palpable tension that gripped the heart. Every moment was laced with uncertainty, leaving a trail of anxious anticipation in its wake. Last night's memory lingered on my lips, ignited by the warmth of Victor Monroe's touch and the intensity of his gaze, as if I were the treasure he had long sought. As the morning sun streamed through my bedroom window, the edges of reality began to creep back in, pulling me from the depths of my dreams. I was bound to him as his employee, while he held the reins as my boss. We had crossed a line from which there was no return. A low, insistent buzz broke the stillness of the night, vibrating against the wooden nightstand. "Greetings, Victor Monroe." As the first light of dawn broke through the horizon, a new day began to unfold, whispering promises of adventure and discovery. "Good morning. I pray that regrets remain a distant shadow." A flicker of a smile danced on my lips as I responded. "The spotlight shines brightly, illuminating every facet of my existence." "None. You stand at the edge of a precipice, the wind whipping around you, carrying whispers of secrets untold. Below, the abyss beckons, a dark chasm filled with the promise of adventure and danger. Your heart races as you take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. This is where your journey begins, where every choice could lead to glory or despair. The world stretches out before you, vast and uncharted, waiting for you to take the leap into the unknown. Indeed, it is you. Let us plunge into the depths of the unknown and uncover what awaits us on the horizon." He replied without hesitation. "Greetings, Victor Monroe." "Not a single one. Shall we rendezvous later?" I hesitated. It wasn't that I lacked the desire. I did, but uncertainty loomed over what later would hold for us. Is it possible for us to flourish beyond the confines of the office walls? What secrets await beyond the meticulously crafted boundaries we've both clung to for so long? I drew in a deep breath. "It's me, of course, but first let's dive into a conversation." As dusk fell, we convened at a tranquil park on the outskirts of the city, seeking refuge from the clamor and the scrutinizing gaze of the office. Victor Monroe awaited my arrival, nonchalantly propped against a bench, his hands buried deep in his pockets, exuding an air of relaxed confidence. As I approached, he lifted his gaze, and the softness in his expression was unlike anything I had ever seen before. "Greetings," he shouted with fervor. "Greetings," I spoke, settling into the space beside him. We lingered in that moment, entranced, as the golden rays of the setting sun poured through the trees, casting a spell around us. Then I found my voice. "Victor Monroe, I need your answer immediately. What lies ahead from this point?" He exhaled slowly, a sense of inevitability hanging in the air, as if he had been bracing himself for the question from the very start. "I don't have all the answers," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper, as shadows danced around them, cloaking the truth in mystery. "Yet, I am resolute in my understanding of what I refuse to accept. Last night was not a mere fleeting moment to be forgotten." I nodded with purpose. "My heart echoes the same sentiment." He locked his gaze onto mine, unflinching. "Let us delve into the essence of what truly holds significance. Abandoning the shackles of rules and expectations, let us delve into the depths of our connection, uncovering the true essence of what it means to be intertwined." I gulped, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. "What lies ahead in the realm of work?" He released a soft, amused laugh, the sound lingering in the air like a whisper of mischief. "This will not alter the course of your career. Your relentless dedication has been nothing short of remarkable. We will engage in a discussion about boundaries in the office, should the need arise. I would not allow logistics to obstruct the bond we share." His words echoed through the depths of my soul. For far too long, I have let the shadows of my fear of the unknown shackle me, preventing me from daring to take risks and dive into the depths of emotions I had foolishly convinced myself were beyond my reach. There stood Victor Monroe, unwavering and resolute, poised to confront this challenge alongside me. I seized his hand, my grip firm and unyielding. "All right," I replied, my voice steady and resolute. "Let's plunge into the depths and discover what awaits us on this journey." His smile glowed with unfiltered relief, pulling me into a slow, lingering kiss as the evening light began to fade around us. A sudden clarity enveloped me. It was a night that would forever change everything. A thrilling new chapter unfolds.